All right, guys, welcome back. How many? I think we broke our streak. We had a couple. We had like 7, 8 weeks in a row, right?
We're
Recording this.
trying, man. We're out here trying.
Yeah, I'll put it on me, guys. Listening to it, like I just needed like a week break. Like there's just a lot of stuff going on. But we're back, and we have a guest today. Awesome collector, again one of the best collections I've seen, Mr. Johnny Bravo 808 on Instagram.
Yep.
Welcome, man.
Welcome, Johnny.
Thank you, guys. It's an honor to be here.
And an OG, by the way. And I think I've mentioned this before, but just for those who don't know, the way you could tell he's an OG is look at the cert numbers on his slabs.
Yeah,
if you really pay attention, look at the cert numbers, and it lets you know how long he's had those slabs for.
Yeah, you can't hide. Like, it's definitely, you can tell you're crafting like a collection is for a long time. Like, some of those. Just off top, like one of the posts that comes to mind is like you have two different versions, like of a Italy and a Brazil, and both in tens. I don't know what card that is, but it's crazy.
Oh yes, you're talking about the Panini card.
Yeah, the 80th anniversary. Yeah,
and
Alex Ross.
Easy to grade. Yeah. They're not easy to grade. I've graded some Dooms. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, I bought some raw, and they come in just totaled.
Yeah.
So when I saw the slabs pop up, I just did my best and tried to get them. One came not too long after the other, so it kind of fell into place.
Oh yeah,
pretty good. So.
And to me, like I always think, like the universe just works. It's supposed to work for whoever it's for, and it should have gone to your collection. But we're gonna start with our top 3 of the week, or just top things of the week. If you have any in mind, Johnny, we'll get back to you. And you could let us know anything that you saw was cool, anything pissed you off, whatever it is. But first thing today, I've been collecting the Mondo series figures, the 6 scale figures. And they just teased the Harley Quinn one, but it looks crazy. So if you guys want to go check it out, go to the Mondo Instagram. That's the first thing comes up. And we talked about this, Johnny. Is the Hot Wheels Lowrider? I know I posted it.
Yeah, the Monte Carlo and the 64.
Ooh, yeah. So it's the Red Line Club. They've done 3 overalls. I think since last year, Lucy. When was the first one? Maybe 2 years ago.
I didn't keep up with the recent ones. I'm gonna be honest with you. You know me, I collect.
It was a 6'4" Impala, not the blue one. It was the rose pink one, I think. And then
beautiful car.
Yeah.
So now I have 3 of those. The Monte Carlo is nice.
What I will say, even though I don't collect lowriders, sorry, Johnny, is that I love what they put on to make the hydraulic effect. Like they really are doing some extra stuff. Like for example, on the RWB Porsche, you could open the door and you could see little glass, like the glass. And what I like about that, not to go on a rant real quick, but just compared to like the Japanese models, I say aesthetically and for display purposes, I think the Japanese models are better. Like the Ignition model, Kyosho, Atomic Limited Vintage. Yeah. But for just playability and collectability, Hot Wheels is coming up with some nice stuff.
Yeah, I was shocked because I asked Doom about the lowriders, and I forgot that he kind of showed it earlier, but I thought it looked like these older Revell 164s, but the paint looked better. But I was like, oh, is Revell doing the lowriders again? But he was like, no, it's the Hot Wheels. And I was like, oh, that's right. You previewed the Monty, and that's that lime green, and that the 70s Monte Carlos wear that lime green so well, and it's just a perfect color for it.
My only thing about it, I mean, it's like the suspension, like you can play with it, right? You can elevate both sides of the axles, but it's all plastic. Like it's not metal. Everything else is like metal, but those are definitely plastic. So you gotta be gentle that you don't break it. So I mean, but overall, like I think they're $30. So like, that stuff's crazy.
Yeah, the paint's so intricate though for such a small model.
It is.
Yeah.
Nice paint.
It's probably Spectraflame, right? They always use those on.
They use Spectraflame. But they have their design, like the lowriders. I would separate them from the regular RLCs because Elusive, we talk about this. I wish the RLCs they would do like some matted colors too, not just Spectraflame.
And just regular colors too,
Right, but the lowriders, like that's easy. Like it has so much design in, like it's perfect for that style. But that one came in. last weekend, I think, or over the weekend is where. And so I have 3 overall. Put them, next to my Batmobiles. I have a little collection of Batmobiles over there.
Sweet.
Speaking of that, you keep going, but I'm gonna show you something because it ties into everything you're saying. But keep everything we're talking about. Keep going though.
Okay, cool. The other one, shout out to one of the we talked to him Johnny before in the same call. Miles, Submarine
Yeah, yeah,
Collective. Oh man, he showed like his display with all his comic books and
yeah.
it
Like
was
the
crazy.
Grail wall. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
crazy.
That thing was sick, man.
It's so wild.
Unbelievable.
Oh, we're talking about
Yeah.
Yeah,
Miles, Post with Miles, right?
Yeah, Miles
yeah.
was it. It's
Mhm.
it's just cool to see like he's been doing it for a long time too. And I know he told me he had a bunch of other books that he kind of moved to get certain cards and certain other pieces. But man, that's the goal, right? Like just to display it all in one place and definitely inspiring to see. You don't see
Yeah,
that every
Yeah.
day.
I was surprised to be honest with you though when he didn't put the his ASM 300 cut next to the ASM 300. Maybe he hasn't
Oh,
completed
that's
the
coming.
display
Don't
yet.
even worry about it. Like
Yeah.
he's always, he's always looking at stuff.
Mm,
He's not
yeah.
done yet. No.
But to go back to what we were talking about the diecast, you were talking about how, like you're delicate, you have to be with those suspensions or
Yeah,
hydraulics, right?
yeah, yeah,
Well, here's my favorite overall model from the tumbler. Um, I've showed you this piece before, but the detail on this is like
yeah.
Hot Toys level on a miniature
But
scale.
that's a what? That's not 164.
This is no, this is 1/43rd scale, and this is
Uh,
by a company called Maze, Maize. I'll give you
mm.
guys a little freebie uh, for people that want it. But
Yeah, yeah. Run
no,
your eBay searches. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
I think we had this for sure at least 6 or 7 years, and the back little fins are so delicate that I actually broke one just when I was trying to put it in
Um,
this. And I'm super careful with my stuff, but it broke, so I had to like crazy glue it back together. And thankfully,
good.
since the part is so light, the crazy glue worked perfectly. But just to go with some pieces are super
Yeah,
delicate, but yeah, on Hot Wheels. I think they're just being cheap, because if they could do all die-cast metal at the bottom, they could just do unless it's something to do with flexibility, it could be as well.
yeah. Yeah. I'm sure it's got some factor in. Because even if these were price point a little higher, just to have like the metal suspension, like I would,
Mhm.
pay for it. But it might be like something like they could have a lot of like production issues if they do that. Who knows?
And it has a lot of usability because they've also put it on like off-road vehicles, like on a little Jeep.
Yeah,
So
some little
they could
Jeeps
use it
have
in
it.
different spots too, which is pretty dope.
But then we see like the BMW, that blue BMW, what last year that came out. You could open the doors, like so.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's something about the
it's nice.
suspension that they don't want to take that risk. I guess.
Someone
Makes
the last
sense.
thing to before we move on from Hot Wheels, because I know we've been on it for a while, but we hardly talk about diecast lately.
Yeah.
Um, I saw a post of a guy comparing. Me and you always talk about. Well, you recently has been discovering it, but we've been talking about the Hot Wheels 100% line, right?
But yeah, yeah, those are cool.
He compared it to the new Jaguar release from RLC, and the 100% Hot Wheels is even better.
The quality of those are,
Yeah.
and they came like in little what like oil canister looking things, right?
So some came in the oil canisters, and some came in just their little display acrylics already.
Those, man, those are special, man. Like once you crack them open and you see the detail on those, especially, yeah, and
What F-150 that you got?
yeah, the
That
Ford Lightning, those,
Lightning, and
yes.
you open the little back, the little
I
trunk.
know they have like Super Bs because my dad is, his favorite car was a '69 Super B. So like
Mm.
they have some of those. I believe they have like a '70, which are some that I need to get. Now I remind myself, but those, yeah, the quality on those were cool. Like, and those came out one what era? Like what years?
2001, 2003, like around
Okay,
there. Maybe like '01 to '00. I don't know exactly when it ended. I started collecting personally in '07, '08,
okay.
and
So it was before you
I
started.
I
Okay.
caught like the end of it because that's when I bought the tumbler set, the 100% the
So
camel black and white. That was
to
'07, '08.
yeah, so people, in case people want are interested in getting some of the like the tumblers, like those are it. Like once you find like the tumblers they did after that, the detail is way less. Like it doesn't even look like the tumbler. But those two from that 100% are the ones you need for sure.
Top notch. Those are the best. Just like we both agree that the '89 one, the best one you want is the Bandai, the Char wheels.
Yeah, the Bandai ones.
Even the 100% is right next to it, but the small little intricate differences that they did
It's
makes the
something they
difference.
did. Yeah.
The paint is better on that too. The other one, they try to put a little glitter in there,
Yeah.
and
I don't like all
throws it
that.
off a
Like
little bit.
the 89, keep it like flat black. Like
That's
stop
Yeah.
messing
why
with.
we
Like
talked about this. That's why I sold that the Halloween the AIDS Foundation one, because I
mhm.
at the time when I was doing it, I was being trying to be more of a completist, and I picked it up even though I don't really mess with those colors. Like for me in diecast. So yeah, I'm happy
Yeah.
just to keep it to all black. Do
No
you what do
worries.
you, are you still looking for things nowadays, Johnny? Like and then what do you are you mainly PC? I know obviously you mainly PC Wolverine, but do you solely PC Wolverine? Because I remember getting a very nice Venom card from your eBay.
Yeah. I
Which I
do.
appreciate. Hey, salute to you, sir. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
That's one of
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
like grails for me. And it's
I
it's not even a crazy card, but it's a grail to me. It's a McFarlane, the
I
McFarlane
caught on
always.
later when you posted. I was like, oh, that was elusive that bought the thing, and then that's. But Venom, of course. I used kind of PC Venom, Spider-Man, Suit Spider-Man particularly, and slightly Magneto and Sabretooth. But like over the last few years, I kind of just made the conscious decision to just kind of try to stick to Wolverine because
Yeah.
things are kind of getting crazy. Like trying to find, this or that. If
Yes.
something comes my way, um, I'll get it. But
Mm.
I mainly try to focus like on just Wolverine. It just kind of simplifies things.
Man, it's
Yeah.
funny
Um,
that you mentioned that because me and Doom were just talking about. And again, this is how you can tell Doom like since he's been collecting at least the cards longer than us. He's already been through what we're going through right now. Right, like I
Yeah.
was just sharing with you that I'm gonna focus on one character. I'm not gonna say who right now, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm gonna focus on one character. And I'm doing what you were doing, like collecting a lot of characters,
Mhm.
and yeah, you're right. It just makes sense to focus on one, and also partly because of what you mentioned. Yeah, the prices are getting crazy. So also, I'd rather get like very nice stuff for only one character rather than a little bit of everything for all characters.
So I guess one thing I can say for this week, I did get a nice pickup. It's nothing too crazy,
Mhm.
Nice.
but it's something I've seen this card. I've just never seen it centered. So this is the 91 Comic Images Jim Lee Series 2. This is the Wolverine base. It's a 9,
Mhm.
but it's
Oh
sorry.
yeah.
Nice.
I,
Yeah. The colors on those are it's one of my favorite ones. I have and that
I
set is so hard to get to
Yep.
begin with for
Nines
some
I'm
are great
reason.
on
sorry
there.
about I'm trying to get the camera good for you guys, but
Yeah, that's
Yes.
awesome. You
No,
know
this
what
is
it
so
reminds
good.
me of? Some of the artwork, like it's kind of Mignola-ish,
Yeah,
yeah.
right?
yeah, because it's shadow heavy. Yeah, I
The
just
colors.
love the colors, like the green, purple, and like magenta. It has like it's just unique that way. But that said, like the Doctor Doom one on there from Jim Lee, I've
Yep.
tried to get a clean one for a long time. So difficult to find them. Like you have to buy sets to get those. Like they don't even pop up as
No.
singles. And then to
And
find
every
like a box is oh my god, like it's
yeah.
crazy.
The just to find one centered, like I've never seen the Wolverine card centered like this 9. So when I saw it pop up, I didn't even think about it. I grabbed it,
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I feel
yeah,
super fortunate to have it.
yeah. Man, that's awesome, man. Congratulations. A 9 on those are
Thank
awesome
you.
because I felt
Yeah,
the same way, man. I picked up remember the Wolverine with the little splashy paint on it. I forgot what, but it's also from the same set.
oh yeah. I think that it's a
yeah,
comic
yeah.
images.
The comic images. That's like he's like in red. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it was
yeah.
called Berserker.
Yep. Thank
The
you.
card.
And Berserker,
Yeah,
yeah, man, and
that
just
was
to see that in a 9 too, because I think someone
yeah,
had it listed for a while and they wanted $500. I was like,
yeah,
I can't do 500. And
yeah.
then, this one popped up, and I was able to get it for $49, I believe,
Oh, that's
which I
There
so
you
thought
good.
was
go.
super reasonable.
It's
And
a
to your
Yeah,
point,
deal.
a
Yeah.
9
that's
to
a
me is
win.
like a 10 on those,
Yeah, it
and
is.
centering, like you
It's
said, as long as you have nice centering, it presents very well.
a centered 9 is a win,
And,
especially.
and a lot of those, like, just the edges have like this black streak going on, I guess, for how they were produced or something.
Yeah,
I've opened like 7 fresh packs. Almost every single one still has it. Like, it's so difficult to find one without that. Like, I don't think I've seen any really on
and
eBay. Like,
the what I noticed with the comic images, like the older sets, is like from what I've opened, a lot of them have like this rough cut to it. Like I don't know if you guys seen like the old OPG cards where it's like a slightly thinner paper than the tops, where you can see where they cut it. It just has like this slight rough texture to it, and it's pretty prevalent in those older comic images sets. And luckily, this one doesn't have that. But a lot of times when same thing, you see packs pop up, you try to grab them, pull out what you can. It's really hit or miss, like you guys said.
Super hit, and these packs aren't cheap either. They're like $15 each too. Like they come in like the clear cello packs, and it's still like just certain issues that they come with. But I found myself going back to those comic images when we were doing Elusive. We kind of just started doing it on ourselves, and then we talked about like, oh yeah, I guess we were all kind of looking at that. It was last year sometime when we were going through. Especially like all the Wolverine sets.
We were sharing our favorites, and we both had that in common. Like one of the common denominators was that card.
This is just sick. Like
they
don't get a lot of shine, but they're so difficult to finding in like a nice condition.
There's a lot of beautiful cards too. It's just I don't know how they produced it, but like we brought up, it's just a lot of rough cuts, off-center cuts. It's tough.
Super tough on those. Yeah.
And the stickers are even worse if you get the ones with the stickers in them.
I was I think to your guys' point about the little inking they get in the front, I think that's partly because of the puzzle piece they all have in the back, right?
Yeah, I guess when they cut, maybe like
you could tell they put that after the fact. You know what I mean? And that's what spreads it onto the front one.
It's a weird part. Buying a Jim Lee set too, when you open those packs, and I don't know how many people have really, because I was trying to find like the header card. At least you get the header card, so I had tons of nice copies of those. When I looked in the back, it had Nightmare on Elm Street like printed, even though it's all black, like it was imprinted. So I don't know how or why it happens, but almost every single pack had it.
So that's odd, because like I don't, unless Comic Images did the Nightmare on Elm Street set,
maybe. That's what I'm guessing. And like I thought it was an error at first, but no, like every single, I had like 7 packs, every single one had it. It's so weird.
It's like residual printing, kind of like, that's kind of cool, actually. No, to like what you said, like with Mondo coming out with the new toys, the Harley Quinn. I seen a little peek of that, and it does look amazing.
The hyenas, like it's gonna be. I wonder what the price is gonna be, because those aren't cheap. Like,
is that gonna still be 1/6 scale like the Gambit you showed me?
Yeah. I think Mondo does 1/6 scale only, as far as I know. And I started grabbing all of those. Like I'm caught up with the Batman stuff, the X-Men. I wanted the Gambit, but I knew that Harley was coming out, so I just got to pick Harley over that. But I might get back to the X-Men later on, but the stuff is crazy. Like the X-Men stuff, they got Magneto.
The Magneto is beautiful. Magneto is unreal.
Wolverine is probably like the oldest one that came on maybe 2 years ago. And they have the Jubilee, which last time I checked, Jubilee, the exclusive one, because they got two different ones. It comes with like a skateboard and stuff, so those were still available and sitting there. So if people want to get the whole team, I would advise y'all to get the exclusives while they're there.
She's going to be the one everybody's chasing.
Yeah,
they're pricey, man. But you're right. Like if I could only get 2, I was telling Doom, I think I wouldn't do 3. I think it's a little too much for me, at least. I would just go for the Magneto and the Gambit.
Yeah.
Like
they're gonna do Rogue. Like if you're gonna bring out Gambit, they're gonna do Rogue. And
then, I gotta put Rogue with her. I mean,
then we'll see Cyclops, then we'll see Jean, and then the X-Men is gonna get crazy. So
Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
It's so Mystique. They have to do a Mystique. Like I see that one going on farther than the Batman one. They probably produce more per year for those. But like the Batman one, I'm still, the Harley's coming out. I'm waiting. They're gonna tease probably Poison Ivy next. I'm guessing. But we still need like Two-Face and.
I hope they do the guy with the mannequin guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I forgot his name, but yeah, he's
That guy's
in the
dope.
later episodes. Yeah,
Was it ventriloquist or
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah,
ventriloquist. Yeah,
ventriloquist? Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
He's a cool
Clay
character.
Clayface. I don't
I
know. They'll do that
there
one.
there's a really obscure character I really like from the animated series, and I know you guys don't know it. It's the Grey Ghost. I think he was in only like one episode.
Oh, I just watched it yesterday. That's
Yeah,
an
he's
amazing episode.
I
yeah.
haven't
I
seen
love
one.
that
So
because
it's yeah,
that reminds me of the Shadow kind of. He kind of
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
That I love that. That's one of my favorite episodes.
Super like what do they call those pulp characters like
Yeah,
noir?
Paul.
Yeah, pulp.
Yes.
Yeah, in the episode, which I advise y'all if y'all want to see, it's called The Great Ghost. Go check it out.
Yeah.
It's basically Bruce Wayne looking up to these films and like it inspired him to become Batman. It's an awesome episode. Yeah,
Yeah. And I think Adam West played the Grey Ghost, right?
yeah, he voiced it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Adam
That's
West
that's
voiced it.
kind of like the passing of the torch thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, there's a lot of
There's a lot of
The-
we were talking about that earlier before we start recording, but we're talking about how many great actors voiced those characters in the animated series.
and he was just
Yeah.
a guest episode, like
Yeah.
like, it's a lot, like going through that. I would advise people to rewatch it. It's amazing. The order is kind of weird. Like if you go by the order it comes out, and all of a sudden Robin pops up.
Yeah, out of
He's
nowhere.
yeah, out of nowhere, like he's just
Yeah.
there chilling in the
Well,
mansion.
To your point though, Doom, like you're right though. Unfortunately, man, like they really tried. Looking back now, obviously with animated, because even compared to the X-Men, you were telling me like the script is overall better. Like the X-Men are just not really saying nothing crazy, right?
At
There's
least
more
like
geared
my
towards
rewatch, the first 7 episodes, like X-Men, it's definitely it's a different level. Well, at least what I interpret it, it's a different level when you're watching Batman the animated series. Like everything seemed like more, I guess, higher quality and
Yo,
like.
shout out to your rooster, Johnny, because I miss hearing that. No,
Yeah.
I do. I love him, man. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I love it. To me, that's
I was gonna say, but
that's a
it
good morning.
reminds me of like
Yeah,
like nostalgia too.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
growing up.
I live in the country, so it's we have one as a pet, and there's some that come from the mountain and they come chill in the front, and every
It's
time
funny.
around early evening they start there they go again. So yeah.
Nah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
awesome.
better than hearing dogs bark. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no, for sure. Or cats meow.
Yeah,
Shout
Yeah.
out to
Kirk.
Sergio.
Yeah, give that cat an option, man. What are you doing?
Every time we talk to him, like the
No,
cats
no,
are going crazy.
I don't want cat people to come after me, so forget it.
No, we love all animals over here.
Yeah, of course, but dogs are better. Continue.
Yeah.
I'm a dog guy too. I'm like, although, like I will say, I had my last dog. I believe it was 2-3 years ago. I had to go through that whole phase where you see it kind of pass away, like just out of old age. And after that, I didn't want to do. I don't want no more pets, man. Like I want to go. My sisters to get some, so I can go visit. And like play around with them. I don't want to live through that again. Like that's a tough process.
It's rough.
It's super
Like,
rough, man.
I grew up. We always had boxers since, and
those are nice. Yeah.
back from when my mom them were kids. My grandpa used to breed them, and then later on we just always had them. But it's always rough when they get old and they pass because it's a family member. So
I hadn't thought
rough.
about that. And you guys are making me think this from my son, my firstborn's 5-year-old, his 5-year birthday. I bought him a dog, and he's now turning 10 this month. And when his dog passes, he's gonna definitely be attached to his dog because I pretty much got him a puppy so they could grow up together.
Yeah.
This before he had a sister.
I think my dad.
Right.
I think my dog was around 13, no, maybe 14 years when it passed away, and this happened twice. Like we had outdoor dogs before, but that was a little different. You don't get to see like the whole process really, like.
Yeah.
But indoor dog, like it was a little poodle, and yeah, it's just tough seeing it.
Yeah.
It's a rough experience. Shout out to all the dog owners out there. Yeah, for sure.
That's it. Oh, another thing, Johnny, this one I have for you. I heard you're into horror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you collect anything involving horror? Comics?
Yeah. So I used to have like the Dawn of the Dead comics and the Halloween comics, But like as far as like horror memorabilia go, it's more like art, like prints or posters.
Yeah.
And of course the Blu-rays. But other than that,
the steelbooks. You're into the steelbooks. Is that what you're talking
about? Nah. In Hawaii, the steelbooks don't do good over here. So I get like I try to get the most basic cover Blu-ray, like preferably with the original poster art. So like the Scream Factory Blu-rays are really good because they'll usually have their design and you can flip around the book and it'll have the original poster art. So I always try to go with that.
Original stuff.
And like I got a few like autograph photos and I gotta get those framed. I have a Nick Castle, Michael Myers. I got the Gunnar Hansen, Leatherface, and those are things I want to put up. The original Halloween is my all-time favorite movie.
Yeah,
that's dope. But when you brought up Leatherface, that's a crazy movie. When I first saw it, the Chainsaw Massacre, that was heavy. The first time I saw the movie, I'm not gonna lie to you.
It's the way they filmed it. Oh, you gotta watch it. It's the way they filmed that movie.
I thought he's not gonna watch it.
Look, the truth about that, like I don't watch a lot of horror because when I was little, my sister was a teenager, and we had to sit through all the horror movies as a kid. Like, so it kind of traumatized me a little bit. But yeah, no, I seen your post when you put some of that stuff up, but the memorabilia on that and collecting Blu-rays, that's something that I've been thinking about, like getting Blu-ray. Like I want to go back to the manual stuff.
It's nice to have them because sometimes what they're doing, like another one of my all-time favorite movies is Return of the Living Dead, the original, 1984. So what happened with that movie is when it came out, it was originally on HBO VHS. And then on the second VHS release, which I believe was Himdale Home Video, that thing, they altered the soundtrack a little. A couple of it's like this really good punk rock soundtrack, but they switched out, I think, one or two songs in the Himdale Home Video. And then when it came to DVD, they changed a lot. Like the zombies' voices, they changed. They took out certain songs. It was kind of, it was still okay, but they kind of butchered it.
It's not the original thing.
No, because like I grew up, we had the HBO VHS when I was little. So when I was watching it, I remember it a certain way. And then when our original VHS wore out, I got the Hemdale one, and I actually found it at this comic shop that was in Pearl City called Jellies. They used to have this big section with vinyl and old VHS tapes, and I found it over there. And then when I watched it, there's this one part where they're all the main characters are in this old Cadillac, and they're driving to I don't want to get too into it, but it's like the main characters work in a warehouse and is right next to a graveyard. And the friends are in this Cadillac and they're going to meet the friend. And there's this certain song that's playing. And when the song started playing, it was a different song. I was like, wait a minute, this ain't right.
Yeah.
So
takes you out of the experience for sure.
Kind of, but what I ended up doing was there's a UK Blu-ray that has it's untouched and it has everything original on it. So I ended up getting that.
Nice.
And
because of the region codes. That's right.
Yeah. So there's a way. I think it works on the PS4, but there's a way to do it on the PS3 where I forget what you do with the menu. You can just play the region, whatever the Europe regions are.
Right.
But with the newer consoles, they might make it harder.
Hey, Johnny. One question I have for you: when you're talking about going to that shop, how hard is it? How hard is it to access like comic shops and like collectible stores out in Hawaii where you're at?
There's nowhere near as much as there was like back in the 90s, but there's still a few good ones. The main one I used to go to was Gecko Books, and the one I used to go to was in the Kailua, the neighboring town. And he had another store in Kaimuki. The one in Kailua closed up, I think, around 2005 or 2006. And the Kaimuki one was going on until, I believe, the pandemic. I think 2020 or 21, he ended up finally closing. But there's like a shop called Other Realms that's really good. there's a Aloha card shop in Honolulu, I believe. They're really good. It's just not as much as there used to be.
Do you feel though that is there? I would assume. I mean, unless I'm wrong, I'm taking a guess. But is there like a higher concentration of collectors in Hawaii because since it is like more of a smaller area, you know what I mean? Like it's more like I feel like you keep more. It's more. There's more of those kind of hobbies out there than because I've met like when I was even into collecting Hot Wheels heavy. I always had a lot of people that would make trades with people in Hawaii. Like that's heavy out there. Even
Yeah,
Hot Wheels.
diecast is huge. I
Yeah.
collected diecast. I still collect, but nowhere near what I used to collect. But I used to collect mainly 118,
Okay.
and it's huge down here. And it's the same with cards.
Okay.
A lot of people that were doing it in the 90s are still doing it now. It's just the shops. A lot of them didn't survive through the late 90s. A lot of them ended up losing up when things started slowing down. And
but do you know of any collectors like in your area? Like for example, with Doom, he's out in Texas, and there's a lot of people. You know, shout out to Jacob, he's in Texas. Shout out to Obiden, he's in Texas.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Shout out
people.
to Free. There's a lot of people concentrated in Texas. Is that the
Right.
same way out there with you, or like do you know more people near you?
Honestly, I don't really network. I've met a couple of sellers on eBay that are from Hawaii, and actually one of my coworkers deals in sports cards, and it like on a bigger scale than I do at Marvel. But that's kind of the only person I really network with and like talk to like about.
Yeah.
But I see them every day at work. But I mean they're out there. It's just I kind of like ever since Gecko's closed, I kind of just kept to myself more and. Like, I had one buddy, my buddy Aaron. We used to always go to like hit the different comic shops. There's one called Best of the Best in Pearl City. That's really good. It's like a sports card store, and in the back they actually have like a little comic shop. It's a really good place too. And it's just finding the little gems. Like a lot of times, it's the little hole in the walls that are the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's dope, man.
Yeah, like I had no idea. Like again, like when I found the Marvel cards or just cards in general, it was after the pandemic. But I didn't network with people. Like I always been like an introvert. Like I don't really get out or like I always keep to myself. But
yeah,
like
same here.
Our homie Free just happened to live like 40 minutes away from me. Like he's the biggest Doom collector out there. Like it's so weird how things happen, And then we found Obiden and everybody else. But yeah, it's crazy.
It's like you said, sometimes the universe has a way of working things out.
Yeah, and then fast forward, like this guy keeps making me come back to do these podcasts every week, even though I don't really want to sometimes. But come on, it's just so weird, so weird.
Yeah.
I'm on YouTube. Like, what? That doesn't make sense. Like, ask my family. Like, what you? Like, why you? Like, there's no way you would talk to people. Hey, look, new person. Don't even worry about it. Like, we talk about stuff that interests us. Like, of course, Johnny's gonna be here. Of course, I want to talk. Like, come on, like. You see people really, especially like people like you who dig for stuff, and I can tell just by looking at the things you showcase. Like, that's what interests me, like the journey of the information and like the history behind these things.
Yeah,
it's so rich. Like, it's always an avenue you can go dig into. Like, it's never ending.
Yeah, and that's the fun part. It's like it's always the chase. Yeah, like even when you find that one thing you're looking for, it's like, okay, well, what's next now?
Yeah.
I will say to that point though, recently, one thing I've been thinking about that I would have surprised myself, like even Doom told me, or I think it was Crypto. He's the one who started like trying to get me more into comics, right? To try out comics. And to you guys' point about digging, even like when you get to some of the most like older cards or like just have like some historical significance, I will tell you that it's once you see something in hand compared to like an old vintage comic book, it's not the same feeling. I never thought I'd say that, but it's a different feeling. Like I feel like like the comic book. I feel like I'm holding something like
artifact,
like something historical, like the Constitution or something. You know what I mean? Like or a treasure map.
Especially when you're talking about comic books from the '60s, right? Like, imagine holding like from 40s, like golden age stuff. Like
Yeah, I don't have any golden age, but
yeah,
silver,
not me
yeah.
neither, but it must be crazy. But even like
Shout
you
out to
know,
Miles again.
yeah, shout out to Miles. Yeah, Miles has a little bit of everything. But the even going like original art, when you see you hold original art and you yeah, doesn't hit the same when you get a card that's you've been waiting for. Like you think it's a grail. Like I don't know, man. Like I've seen some other stuff now. Like it's a little different. Sure.
I will
Yeah.
say, I won't. One thing I will share about my week, well, a recent pickup. I can't show it now because I haven't received it yet. Unfortunately, it's being sent to authentication, which I hate that, by the way, personally.
Yeah.
I think I
Yeah.
think I think it's just a way for them to get more money off of us. But anyway, no, that's just
Something.
being real.
Yeah,
But
something.
yeah, because I would say that let's not get into that. But what I was
Yeah.
going to share is that I was able to win an auction on the Gambit 2018 PMG PSA 9. I
Nice.
was the Jim Lee artwork one. Yeah, like I don't have any Gambit PMGs because I don't like personally the 2015, so I don't consider that Gambit.
Yeah.
So and I got this one, and I'm really happy about it. I wanted a PMG and a 9 just because I know how sensitive condition wise they are.
That's it. It was
Yeah.
the quality control on that's it was terrible. So a 9 is practically like the best you can do sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no obviously 10s, and I don't foresee any 10 because those were cut a certain way as well. But yeah, I was glad. I think all the attention we were talking about this was on the Jusco Silver Spectrum Gambit that sold for 3.6 thousand.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think, if you look at the bidding, it looks a little sus. To be honest with you,
Mhm.
it looks more so like it was going to go for around 1800, and then there was a huge leap from like 17 up to 3600.
Mm.
So I think really, and let's be honest, we talked about this before because you always asked me if that was a piece I would be interested for Gambit.
Mhm.
I prefer, and I've told you this before, I prefer so anybody that wants to make a trade, I prefer the Gambit, the Jusco buyback numbered at a 15 because I
Yeah.
love that artwork a lot more.
Those are
Yeah.
yeah.
So but even when we talked about the value, I thought they should be maybe around 1200 to 1500 max, and to see it
Right.
go for that amount
Yeah,
it doesn't
man.
make sense.
2016 Silver Spectrums and What If Autos. I don't understand the pricing on those. Like I'm sure there's reasons that have to do with people who own the sets and all that. Like we've heard
Yeah.
it from some of the OGs that they know more information than the public, but at that price, like you know how much 3600. You know how much stuff I can get for 3600. That's equally like probably better, more interesting to me at the moment. Like it's just tough.
Yeah.
Hey,
Unless you
you guys,
unless you were early enough to get those and you
yeah.
have those, then okay, then you can celebrate them and you can probably capitalize off of that. Like if you have some of that and it's not your favorite character, capitalize off of it and go get something really cool.
Yeah.
You can get by original art for 3600. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's a lot of
It's
stuff.
I feel the same way about the Wolverine. Like when that set came out, I had the resources. I had to pick one big card to chase, and
Yeah,
I ended up picking the buyback autograph from
Yeah.
Justco.
And see,
And
that's
shout out
that's the
and
move.
yo, that's cool, man. That's dope.
yeah, and that
Congrats, man.
I was lucky to get one, and luckily the one I ended up getting was the nicest one I saw. I think during the whole quest it took me to get it, I think I saw like, I want to say 4 pop up the whole time.
That's
And
what I was gonna tell you. At least you guys are lucky. I've never even seen the Gambit since I've been collecting, and not as
not,
long as
you
you.
know, now that you mention it, I don't think I've seen it either. Even when I was searching, it's
That's
just,
crazy.
that's a
I've
tough
never
one
seen.
because
Yeah,
honest, it's one of the nicest Gambit cards ever made. And I'm gonna say that a lot about the 1992 masterpiece set, but Jusco just
With
killed
that
it.
one, yeah, he did.
yeah,
Jusco, yeah,
especially when you like compare it to the 2016. Like that 90, the 92 is just it just feels different. Like it just
yeah. You can see Jusco's art like evolved. It evolved since '92, but it's that '90s feeling that's in those paintings that
Yeah,
really it just gives it that extra. I don't know what you could say, like that extra special feel.
and it's the
Like,
original masterpiece set, right? Like it's
yep,
it's the
and
first year. Like it has everything going for it.
to your point, in certain things he improved on, but personally, like specifically or that exact example with Gambit. I don't think the 16 comes close to 92.
It's two different perspectives too, right? It's like a
Yeah.
portrait compared to like full body.
And it's cool when you get to compare like art within the same artist, because at least you're not comparing him to
Yeah.
another artist. I'm
You
comparing
see
him to
the
himself.
difference in the
Yeah.
times. Yeah, like it's
the cool thing about that Gambit too, and I don't think they'll ever do it in the cards now, is he's smoking a cigarette on the 92 and he's pointing the bow staff at you. He has a cigarette in his mouth, and they'll never do that now.
Yeah.
And the shout out to this guy on IG, man. I wish I could remember his IG, but he owns the original painting.
Wow.
How awesome
Yeah.
is that?
How big? Can you tell the scale of it? Like, is it?
To me, it looked like an 8x11.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't think they were too big, the ones Jusco did originally.
But I could be off. I mean, I'm not. You just asked me.
No, I think you're right. I think they were around that size. Yeah, like people who have those pieces, it's crazy.
And again, like you hear stories about people who got some of these pieces, just like we're surprised on, for example, how cheap you guys were able to get your silvers or the Jusco signed buybacks. Like that's how cheap some of these people got original artwork, because no one was caring about it either. I saw a comp for the Gambit, the original artwork penciling for the Gambit promo card by one of the promo cards. I think I even showed it to you, dude. And it went for $500.
Wow,
that's insane. Yeah,
and this was like three years ago. It went for this 4 maybe max.
Yeah, and it's comparing like a production piece to like a card. Like
the artwork was dope, by the way.
I think people who buy, I don't think we were talking about this the other day. Like, I don't think some people go beyond like the card, right? They just stick to what they know. They don't really try to see like the initial sketches or whatever's out there, the original art. Some people just focus on the card works and they just keep it going.
Yeah, I think too. We were talking about this with even 1/18 scale diecast or even the 1/6 scale toys. Like, I think it also has to do with like not only what you're used to, what medium, like comics, cards, or statues, but it also like size helps a lot. The fact that a card, like, it's more compact. Also, to some people, you might say like, we might all think we're right in the sense that, hey, for $500, I'd rather have the original painting. Another thing is some people don't have where to display their paintings or the original pieces, so sometimes that discourages people from even picking them up. I know it did me. Like when I didn't have my own home, like I wasn't trying to put up decorations on someone else's place. You know? So
look, but Lucy, that's why you give a portfolio, man. You're good.
Yeah, you were telling me about that, but then it feels like a giant binder.
But look, when you get a nice portfolio, you start it's a new experience for me. Nice portfolio, you stick it in there, like it's makes you want to buy all kinds of art now. Like it's crazy, so you gotta watch yourself.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Look, on that one, I let you, go over the hill first, because then you'll give me the right sizing on what portfolios to get. You know, I'll correct your wrongs. In other words,
and I won't make it public or anything. Obviously, we're not gonna talk about this, but Jonny, I'll let you see it because I trust you. But I found some original art.
Wow!
We won't talk about the IP. This is we'll label this DuckTales, right? This is DuckTales.
Oh,
right?
DuckTales.
Yeah.
But I found it and it's used in the actual set, and it's 11 by 17, and like it's simple, but
that's stunning.
You see the back, like it was made in '93. Like you see the date on it, like it's special, man. When you see that stuff. I didn't have an opportunity to do that with the Doom collection because even though I was early on the cards, it was already late for certain cards, and especially like the original art. Like this was, there was no shot at me getting that. So when I saw this, and I got to get that DuckTale stuff for sure.
That's dope, man. That's a dope thing. Even when I see it, it gives it nostalgia. Like makes me want to go watch the show, whatever it is, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. And then, we'll show the other one, but like that's for that.
Oh wow, yeah, geez.
So this is the stuff they used for the set and toys and stuff.
That's like a whole model sheet.
Yeah.
So that's so
stuff. I saw it. I'm like, oh man, gotta make it work.
That's amazing. Congrats, man. That's awesome.
Thanks.
Uncle Scrooge, bro.
Yeah, Uncle
Yeah,
Scrooge. Yeah. No, Uncle
Yeah,
Scrooge is crazy. Hey,
yeah.
look,
yeah.
Congrats, man. That is
if I
dope.
see Uncle Scrooge though, come on. I'm sending you the link, elusive. I know that's your guy.
I appreciate it. Hey, why you put me on blast though, man? Come on. That was like a double thing we're doing right there. You know, you just messed it up.
Yeah, I know you like your coins, man. You know.
Yeah. Wow. You're gonna give it all away? That's crazy.
No. We'll edit that out. Don't even worry about it.
Oh, I appreciate it. Hey, Johnny, what else do you collect, man?
Besides cards and comics, like the 118 diecast.
Are you still active on
And
those
that's
though? Like you're still pursuing certain pieces?
not too much.
Just
I got
whatever
most of
catches
the
your
cards
eye.
I want. Yeah, like there's some like I'm collecting a little bit more trucks now, but it's not it's
Yes.
not real prevalent. But like that's I love old Chevys. So
Oh yeah.
like one of my big things I collect is the 67 Camaros, 67 Chevelles.
The
Yep.
That's my
Chevelles. Oh,
yeah. Yeah.
yeah. That's my
Like
look,
growing
Johnny. We have that in common. Like I love the '60s, like that whole era. Even I don't know about you, but I grew when I even as a kid, like I would build like model cards. You know, like plastic, we'll paint it and using the cement glue, the whole process. But
yeah.
it, I didn't know about diecast when I was little. We just I
Yeah.
just bought model kits. But now, like like '60s. Yeah, that's my
Yeah.
stuff.
I
Yeah, go ahead.
the I used to build model kits too, and that's kind of like I used to build lowriders.
Oh,
When I was a
yeah.
teenager, three of my older cousins built actual lowriders like Lincoln Continentals,
Mm,
Oldsmobile Cutlass, Buick Regal. One of my
mhm.
cousins had a killer '85 Cadillac two door.
Wow.
Um, and like I used to build models, and I used to get real like obsessive. Like I used to do like the wiring the engine, do the hydraulic lines, uh,
Yeah,
cut cut the suspension so the front's locked up or the back's locked up, or pose it on three wheels. And
yeah,
I got to the point where I was even doing like velvet interiors, and
yeah,
it got crazy.
yeah.
And it's just
I was a little kid though. Like I was like 8 to 10 years old trying to do this, and I would always mess up the kit.
I was
You
gonna
know,
tell
yeah,
you, yeah.
yeah, that's the issue. But like that's something like that's something that I've noticed about myself. Like some things that I know I love, I'll save
yeah,
them for like a later date. I will revisit and I will build model cars like the legit way, just to prove it to myself
yeah,
I can do it. Because back in the
yeah,
day, like we would go to hobby shops and they would have the hydraulic kits too, where you would wire them and like you could like hit the
yeah. Make
switch
the
and
car
then.
dance around. Yeah,
And I always bought them, but I never knew. Like I just kind of faked it. I didn't know what to do. I was too little to understand it. It was like
yeah.
it wasn't cheap either. Like it was like $50 to
No,
get the kits.
You know
50
what?
bucks for the kit.
You know what drew me away from them personally was the fact that it bought like since I didn't know how to paint good, I feel like no matter even if I built it, I was gonna mess up how the paint looked, like the paint job. So
Yeah,
I'd rather get like
you need an airbrush
a
to
118
do it
scale,
legit.
you know,
Yeah,
Yeah,
or a 143rd scale is a good size too. But those are more close to like what 124th, the ones that you build the
yeah.
models.
125,
yeah,
125 was the ones I
yeah.
used to work on.
Those.
Yeah.
And I remember
And
like buying like the Daytons, the sets of Daytons, and they would have all
yeah,
these
the
expensive
Pegasus wheels. Yeah,
Pegasus. Yeah, that brand.
yeah.
Yeah, like the little chain, like the chain steering
Steering
wheel.
wheel. Yeah, I had all that. The probably like my masterpiece I built, and I wish I still had it. It ended up falling apart, but it was a '59 Impala convertible, and I actually painted it with my friend from high school had an uncle that was a car painter, so I got some
Yeah.
It was House of Color candy purple, so it's like a dark blue
Oh,
purple
yeah.
color. So I based the '59 Impala kit in silver, and I shot that purple over it, and it just came out insane. And I
Uh,
did a dark blue velvet interior on it, and did like the chain steering wheel, the
Yeah.
shifter. I went all out, and it. But over time, like the glue doesn't hold up, so I built this kit. I was over 20 years ago, so it over
Yeah.
time they fall apart, and that's what I like about diecast. You have a nice diecast model and you take care of it, it'll last a lifetime.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
No, for
Where
sure.
where styrene kits not so much.
I was gonna when you were saying like the one I was thinking about in the future that I want to prove to myself is the '59 Impala with the
Yeah,
wingtips in the back. Like
yeah.
it's a beautiful
It's
car.
kind of like a Batman car.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. No,
a lot of people call that the Batmobile. That's the
lights.
60s pretty similar, but you got the cat eye lights on the 59 that
Mhm.
it's just so unique,
Yeah, no,
and
Yeah,
it's
it's
I
a
only
beautiful car.
yeah I only accept the '89 and the Tumbler as Batmobiles personally, but I
Yeah,
will say
that's
when you were talking about diecast too, I just started getting into some of the resin models, and I don't know how that works out to your point long term, but I will
interesting.
say that the details even more insane than on diecast.
yeah,
From
it's
what
more
I
crisp.
yeah, it looks
Yeah,
and then it, it's weird to say, but it feels more solid even though it's not diecast.
right.
There's the little parts feel more fragile, but the overall like has like a certain have to like it's you know what it probably is that on diecast they probably have the bottom and the inside it's hollow. This feels like it's obviously
The way
all
it's like
Solid.
fully
evened out solid.
distributed, yeah,
Mhm.
evenly. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
That's
might
probably
be
what I'm.
that. Yeah.
like
But yeah, I don't know
one of
how
the
those are long term.
yeah, they I think they'll hold up okay. It's a more I think durable than styrene. It's like a
Yeah.
urethane resin, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Okay.
I have I think it's a 124 and the other one's a 118. They're my dad's cars, so I just have them there as like to remind myself of 'em. The '69 Super B. I think the other one's a '68 GTO, a
oh,
convertible.
beautiful cars. Yeah,
But the stories because every time you just ask my dad about stories of the cars and he goes on about his childhood, so they're like little
yeah,
memories for me to
Yeah.
keep them and
yeah,
yeah, no, they're sweet. Like, they do take up a
like
lot more space, but they're sweet. Yeah, for
yeah.
sure.
The
For me,
like my family growing up, my uncles used to race Novas and Chevelles at the Raceway Park when we had it, and like we don't have it anymore over here. But and then my grandpa bought my grandma a brand new '67 Malibu Chevelle,
Oof.
and then that car ended up getting totaled. Some guy ran into him, running from the cops, ran into my grandpa, then totaled the car. And then
Mm.
my grandpa bought a '67 Camaro after that for my grandma. And that's been in our family ever since. It's
Wow,
actually sitting in the garage right now.
nice. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
beautiful 67 Camaro is beautiful.
I
Yeah.
67 was a great year because I'm into heavy the Shelby GT 500 1967 as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah,
That's
Those are beautiful cars.
Eleanor, as some people call them now because gone in 60 seconds, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
classic.
It's
Yeah,
But
synonymous with the Shelby now.
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
but another thing that I think people forget about, I don't know if you guys remember, but Knight Rider, that was a dope car.
Come on, dog. Like, who you
Yeah,
talking to?
the
Like, I
Firebird.
still watch it. They're here
The
now. Like,
Firebird.
come on. Yeah.
But it kind of reminded me of like an
You
obtainable
talking about
Batmobile.
Kit? This is what you
Okay,
talking about?
yeah,
Of course.
yeah.
Me and my mom watched it. That's
You
crazy. They
passed the
still show
test,
a
Batman.
rerun. I missed the Hot Wheels release. They actually did one with the battery where it like turns on, like it has a built-in battery. You can charge it. I might have to go back and get that from my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's some beautiful.
yeah.
Those are cool.
There's a dope Hot Wheels one. I thought about getting it, but now at this point, the price I've been even for Hot Wheels, by the way, getting crazy. That's why I've been letting go of a lot of my diecast collection lately. Is I can't rationalize keeping some of these pieces anymore. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, people
it's
don't play.
I'm just keeping my copies, but yeah, I had a lot of dupes and stuff, and some of these Porsches are selling for $750. The Porsche
That's
Gold
wild.
RLC.
Jeez. Yeah.
The Datsun 240Z from a convention is going for like 650. The
Wow.
Skyline, the yellow Skyline from the Los Angeles convention from 2017 is going for like $700-800. Those were at
That's
one point,
crazy.
even when you went to the dinner, like a $80 car if you bought it.
And
Yeah.
look, like the latest release, the Monte Carlo, like it was third. You gotta buy the membership for $10 for a year, right? To go order from their website.
Mhm.
And they're $30. But on eBay, uh they're going for 65 $70 right now. Like,
That's always
and
been like
it's
that.
but it's
Yeah.
like a new release. Like it's still like the,
Again,
compared to like it's not limited like the older releases, but they still have you're still paying at least double what they go for.
it's the same as the cards, right? What's happening now with the new stuff? It's not as rare as the older stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Yeah, some of those prices are.
You
Yeah,
know,
some of those prices are crazy, but people having fun with it.
well, yeah,
Right.
but to your point, like those ones, the models that I mentioned, they're out of 4,000, some out of 6,000, and the Dots one was out of 1,500. You can't compare that to the RLCs that they're dropping now that are more than. You know how they're more than 30,000 because they
They don't
stopped
have a number.
numbering even the one out
Yeah, they
that
don't
were
have a
out of
number.
30,000. Exactly.
The Monte
Right.
Carlo
So
doesn't have a number. Like I don't know what that means.
that
I'm
to me
guessing
that
they
means
mass
60 to 90. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's what
I'm
that means.
guessing it's more than 35,000 copies because that's like the last numbered ones I've seen. But yeah, who knows? That's
You
tough.
know, another brand that I got into was Bub, BUB. I brought it up before, and
Oh, you're talking
they have
about the
some nice
UK.
models.
You say UK brand, right?
Yeah, but they're 187 scale. So, but they're
Mm.
awesome looking, man. Like there's the detail again that they do.
Yes.
If I take a photo, it looks like
Is that
maybe not as
this?
good as the 164, but
Is that the smallest scale as they go?
It's like
no, they go smaller. They go smaller, but that's the smallest one that has collectability. Like it's
Oh, okay.
the
It still
smaller you
looks
go, the
like
harder.
the actual car.
Yeah, because then you get to micro machine level, and they don't have much details, more like a toy.
Mm. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah,
that's
no.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those 60 car and the trucks, I've always been a fan of trucks. I was collecting a lot
Yeah.
of Hot Wheels trucks for a while, but I kind of stopped. Just focus on the lowriders.
Yeah. Yeah.
My favorite, especially over here in Texas. Like it's all you see is trucks. Like the old classics. My dad had like a well, it was like a '73 Ford. It was in a family for a long time, but he moved on with it. And when you see like a '60s truck or like the old school Chevy trucks with the top,
Yeah.
the front, like it opens up the opposite way. Like, yeah, that stuff's awesome.
They
Hey,
make it like a convertible.
Yeah.
hey,
Yep.
Johnny, I was gonna remind you. Can you show us some of the drawings and some of the stuff you want to share with us?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because for
Um.
those that don't know, Johnny also draws himself,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you guys
He
should check
shows
out
some stuff
his
in their
Instagram.
stories. If you follow his stories, you show some of those, but for sure.
Trying to see here.
We get to see
So
it. Sorry for the listeners, we get to see it, but we'll try to describe it as best possible.
so I'm gonna try to show this to you guys best I can, but
Yeah.
this is one I think you guys will dig. This is actually one from maybe about 6 years ago. I drew this for a friend, and he just wanted an avatar, like
Yeah.
a full body. So just let me show this to you guys.
Oh
Oh,
my
that's
god.
dope.
Oh my
Yo,
god.
Johnny, do you want to trade for
Oh.
some cards?
So people listening, like, it's a Batman. Oh, it's amazing, man.
That's crazy. Do you know? Real question though, Johnny. Do you sell some of your original art?
Oh,
I not yet. I never thought of it.
yeah, if you do, I'm definitely signing up for a piece for sure. Like you
Oh,
got
thank you
you got
guys,
skill,
man. That
man.
that just that means the world. I probably I thought about posting this one, and
Oh, you should.
maybe
No, I
Can I
think
say it
maybe
again?
I'll
Let
post it.
me say it one more time. Let me say it one more time.
Okay.
Lucy, chill out, dog.
Hang on.
Don't worry
I,
about
I'm
it.
glad you guys like it. Hang on.
I don't know for sure. Yeah.
That's dope, man.
Yeah, you
That's
should
great.
post it, man, so people can see it. Um, bro, yeah, like
I'm working
seeing
his
that,
hands.
like, and when you
I'm sorry, I
posted
can't get
the,
the camera.
No, I could see it enough. Yeah,
oh
it
no,
looks.
no, that looks awesome, man. And when you
Oh, yeah, that's
posted
crazy,
some
man.
on the stories, like when I see that, like it just inspires me to go back and do my little charcoal thing.
You have to put some weeks in.
Yeah.
Okay, let's put some weeks in there.
Put
Let's not
some
get
weeks,
crazy.
yeah, do some work.
To do what he
Uh,
just showed us, it's gonna take a little bit. You gotta.
are you challenging me though?
It's gonna be a little rustic.
You want me to draw you a little Rick and Morty? I know you love Rick and Morty.
Yeah, I'll
No,
take a
but
break.
my thing,
Yeah.
I've never drawn like outside of Goku and like Trunks. Like
Mhm.
I don't, I really, what I did is mostly like portraits. Like I just love doing portraits, um, and charcoal. Like I don't think I would draw like, well, maybe I should, right? Maybe one day I should try it out. I've never tried to draw like a Batman or a Doom or any villain superhero, but
Yeah.
the process of it, for me, you just zoning out, listening to music or doing whatever, like It's therapeutic, man. Just
Yes,
the
it is. It's
charcoal.
zen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know my limits, right? I didn't know my capabilities until I remember taking like a figure drawing class when I was in community college. They used to make us do figure drawing, and I was nervous because I'm like, oh man, I haven't drawn since I was like, 12. Like, how am I gonna do it? It's been like 8 years or 6 years, whatever it was. And I've shown it to Elusive. And I'll show you when after this, Johnny. I'll show you the piece. It was the first time I truly tried to like draw a portrait. I think I spent more than 24 hours just in different phases of it. It was of my niece. It was a niece portrait, and it hangs in my sister's wall now, right? Like they kept it.
That's awesome.
But I go back to it, right, and it's in her house, and I'm like, yo. By the way, I'm gonna need that back. Like you can hold it for now, but like I need that because to me that meant something to me. I discovered about myself. I didn't know I could do
Yeah.
that, and
Right.
that's right. And I did a couple other pieces because it was part of the class, but I never went back to it. Like I always do something when I do it. Like I can't move on. That's something that I'm leaving for the later half of my life. Like I'm definitely gonna be drawing all kinds of stuff just
Yeah.
right now.
It's crazy you mentioned that, man, because the memory popped up. Is I remember in seventh grade, there was this guy. This one, to your point of when I figured out that I was good at drawing, was I had this like a drawing off with another classmate. His
Oh
name,
yeah.
shout out to Ferdinand, by the way. He like got down with like Dragon Ball Z, right? So what we did is his group of friends picked an image, and we both had to draw it and bring it back the next day.
Okay.
And they were judged like the same image. To be fair, you know what I'm saying? And he ended up winning, but it was close. Like people were voting, and it was close. And I was like, damn, I could. And he got down, man. He was really good. And I've showed you that piece before, but same thing. I'll show it to Johnny. But I
Yeah.
stopped. To your point, I didn't get to develop as well. Like I think around 14 or 15 was my last drawing.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I
you
mean,
could
but
see
you
potential,
sketch
but
with your kids now. Like, I know you
I
guys.
started to try to get back to, I showed a little bird that I drew, a little blue bird, but I was
Mhm.
rough for the first couple weeks. I was sharing with some of you, with you some of those things
A-
too.
And I tried like on the iPad, just digital, like but it's not. I enjoy like the dirtiness of the charcoal stuff like
Yeah.
that.
To me,
That's
physical media is
because yeah, your finger and like it's and that piece that I did just reminds me of like it just gave me peace doing it, and I sometimes I I want that peace again. Like sometimes, like you just like, oh man, like I need to do something just to whatever emotions you have, you carry, you just throw it on there. Like it's then you're good. Like it almost like transfers that energy, and
Mm.
you get some, I don't know. It's a calming effect. It's a therapeutic activity,
yeah,
but
100. Yeah.
you have to spray down the charcoal so like in phases, so
Yeah, the
like it doesn't.
fixative.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I learned all that in like community college, and looking back, like I'm thankful for that class because I think it was, not a lot of people have that experience, and like you have like, you know, you have models and stuff, and like you have to really break down anatomy and stuff. But the
Yeah.
portraits always been my favorite stuff for sure. I need to get and no, you showing us that definitely inspires me to get back to drawing, man. So I thank you for
Yeah,
that for
we
sure.
we need to get a Gambit and Doom
Oh,
thing.
thank you.
Yeah, man. We'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know what I don't know what I'll start, but like I see. I follow all those videos of people doing portraits and stuff. And I'm like, I definitely need to start sketching, at least minimum. But the charcoal, if you guys, people listening to this, if you haven't tried charcoal, go play with it. It is fun. It's messy and it's fun.
Yeah. It's fun.
Elusive, your kids, they'll have a blast with it.
I told you this. I've been getting into the Prismacolors, the
Yeah,
the color pencils. Yeah, I haven't bought any
color's
yet, but
tough though, man. Color's
yeah,
tough. It's always been tough for me.
that's why I was experimenting with the bird, and just mixing the different like tones of blues and stuff. It was fun to see. It was my first time ever doing it, and just to make like the feather effect.
There's
I
definitely
thought it
an
was dope.
art to like colors and like people can do that. It's
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
different way of thinking. I don't know about
It's
you,
a whole
Johnny.
different beast.
do when you think of like your favorite artwork, is it mostly like black and white? Is it, or do you think of like what?
Yeah,
No.
I only started messing around with color probably this year. That Wolverine Sabretooth that I posted a little while ago was probably like one of the first pieces I did with color.
Yeah.
Just to try see, because I'm debating like whether I should invest in like a real like Copic, like a set of Copic markers. And
That was a nice.
The Wolverine Sabretooth, I think I did that mostly with Sharpies and brush markers, and it came out pretty good. So I'm thinking I might give it a try and invest in the Copics. But I know that's a completely different animal when you color with those things.
I see like a lot of the in college, like a lot of the architectural people doing the architectural classes, we use them.
Yeah.
You see it a lot, like the car designers, right? Elusive, like those videos, they use all those Copics. Yeah, I think that's what they use. They use like the super thin like markers too. That stuff is expensive, and like you gotta know how to use it.
It's cool how everything has its own like there's their nuances, but something I always go back to, maybe because I've never done it, possibly is painting. That always looks super interesting to me. Like when the way they mix the colors, like I showed you some videos before where like people have that gift to like see a color and be able to match
Just
it right
match
away.
a color. Like there's a whole art to itself.
Yeah.
I've
There's so much to painting, you know what I mean? Besides that was just
Oh yeah, it's an entire process. Yeah, I
and
mean,
it just
I've dabbled with acrylics, but like I've never tried like a real like legit, like especially oil paintings. Like it's
what was Bob Ross doing? Was that Bob Ross? Was that oil paintings?
I believe oils.
Yeah, see, there you go. Yeah, so yeah, there you go.
And this, it's like it's tedious. Like you have to let it dry. So like it's something that you have to have a dedicated space for it, and
it's very delicate.
Yeah, like my favorite, like if you like charcoal and you want to do some color, like the pastels are always fun too. Like I've tried pastels. You kind of learn. That's when I started to learning, like really seeing the image and kind of breaking down the colors. There's so many. Like you think like skin tone is like one color. You start really dissecting it. Like there's a lot of process goes through just to get the right tone and the mixture of of different colors. So I think that too, if I was advising someone, I would say try pastels, and then once you get the hang of the color mixing, then I would go into like the paints.
Yeah, graduate into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, all that stuff is dope. Hey, show us some more, Jonny. I know you're gonna show some more drawings, man. That was a good one.
Well, the next one's just a pencil. I don't have too many finished pieces, but this is an Iron Man I was kind of working on. Just it's like a classic, I guess, 60s style.
Oh, Doom loves that one.
Oh yeah, that's classic. And I always love like the pencil, like yeah, man. Especially like we see Marvel sketch cards in our hobby a lot, but like I wish they would do more pencil sketches. I think they have guidelines, like they have to use color, like all these unnecessary. Like I don't know why they put these forced guidelines on these artists, but
like that would be trippy just to see somebody do like some charcoal sketches.
Oh man, yeah. That reminds me. You have a couple of Mark McHaley sketches. Like to me, those are like one of my favorite sketch artists. And I believe that's like watercolor, right? That he does.
I believe so. Watercolor, and maybe he puts some acrylic in there.
Yeah,
but
he does experiment on some. To me, like the Batman sketches he's done for the sets, the rent house sets.
The hives, yeah.
Man, if you ever go down that lane, like he did like mashups with Darwin Cook, Darwin Cook no longer with us, like just legendary people, like that stuff to me. But the Wolverines you have are amazing. Like I love that style he does. You don't see those. Like those are so difficult to just find and look at.
There's one that I posted. It's Wolverine, and he's kind of turning his face, and he got his hand up with the claws just going straight out. That was the very first sketch card I ever bought.
Oh yeah.
And So and I just like that art. I just fell in love with it, and like the way he draws Wolverine's cowl, it's different than a lot of artists do it. It's almost like how Sinkovich does it.
Yeah,
It's kind of got
exactly.
like a little bit of that feel,
Yeah.
and I was fortunate. I got a few. I still got a couple more I can show, and I'll probably post another one soon. But I was just really fortunate to get them when I did, because like you said, even not very long after that, those card sets came out, you just didn't see them after that.
No, and I
It
think he's
just
done a lot less for Marvel sets. I think he's
yeah,
mostly dominantly the Batman one, but
yes,
yeah, when you find one of those, who was it? Elusive, like yeah, it was Cool Cards, right? He had a couple of those in the video or something. I know he showed some of those, but like when you spot them in the wild, you can tell like they're
how
unique,
people.
right?
Yeah. Oh, Michael. Yeah, shout out to Michael Seltzer. I think was who you're referring to. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, there's things that I've gotten that we can't mention right now. But
Oh,
to your point, when you see certain things in their collection, you're like,
yeah.
wow, he's been doing it for a while, and he's really dug deep.
So
yeah,
yeah, and that's the thing. Like you can tell by people's collection. So I once saw Johnny have a couple of those. Like, oh, okay, yeah, we definitely have similar taste in that. And I think
yeah,
Matt Fuller had mentioned he has a couple of the McKaylee ones. They're not for everyone. Like some people don't like that style, but to me, oh man, they're like my favorite sketches I've seen.
yeah. I mean, it's got like a depth and a richness to it. It's just not present in a lot of the
Yeah,
sketch
man.
cards. It's just
And when you see
the
them
way
in
he,
person,
yeah.
dude, it's crazy.
And
Like,
I'm actually really fortunate because because I don't have very much like original art,
mhm.
but one of the very few pieces I do have is I have a McKaylee. It's a black and white watercolor of Wolverine, and
Ooh,
it's like a few. It's like there's like a Logan, and then there's Wolverine in his two different costumes, and I think there's like four altogether, and it's all like a montage. And I think the one in the top corner is him in his 181 costume with the little cat ears. So he
yeah,
did kind of like the brown suit, the yellow suit, and I think the cat. I gotta post it. I gotta get it in a frame. But
yeah.
it's like a black and white watercolor he did of Wolverine,
Yeah, I've gone through like
and
just the image. Looking at his, he's done some Star Wars stuff. Yeah, but the Marvel stuff's just not a lot of it out there, and I don't think he does it.
no,
Like I try to find like I don't think he's active on Instagram or nothing like that. But this
no,
is I know Johnny. I don't know if you've seen it. I know I
Oh,
posted it, but like
yeah,
the
oh,
colors, man, the
but
splatter around, like to me, that's like my
yeah.
favorite stuff. It's
What
that.
I
It's
love is that's like almost like the Bob Kane Batman how he did it,
yeah, yeah.
and it's just I love it. When you
It's
posted it, that's why I was like, man, that's next level right there, man.
yeah, and I have there's a couple out there, but not none of the ones that I want because I definitely have a hit list. Right, I'm waiting for them to pop
Yeah,
up one day. I definitely have a little like photo album with all the Batman ones.
yeah.
People listen to it. Don't ask me. I won't share them. Do your research. But
what is
if
Sergio
they
saying? Do your
pop up,
homework.
trust me, I'll
Do
see
your
a
homework.
verse. Uh, you
Yeah.
know, there's a couple out there. If y'all really, not my favorites, but yeah, no, for
Yeah.
sure. No, that stuff's awesome, man. Oh, and they're I don't know, John, if you've seen it, but they're doing a Cape Crusader animated series with Amazon. I think they have 2 seasons, and
Mm,
they were gonna do the whole HBO thing with DC, but then somehow like they cut it. I think HBO is going through some changes with Paramount. They're cutting like a
yeah.
lot of good quality shows, but they got picked up by Amazon, and it's that more noir. Like it's supposed to be Batman Year One type of feel to it. Like it's
Yeah.
a lot more
You're ma-
darker than the animated series. Like
yeah.
um,
The
Johnny, you have any favorite creators
yeah. Who's
that?
your favorite artist, John?
Of course.
Yeah, yeah,
For comic books, I gotta say John Byrne and Chris
yeah,
Claremont,
yeah.
hands down. And then probably after that, I would say Mark Silvestri and Jim Lee probably are like a dead tie. because Silvestri is actually who defined Wolverine for me in the 90s, because that was the first comic I picked up, was a Wolverine number 34, and it was Silvestri art, and it just blew me away. And I think it was a little while after that they started to announce that Jim Lee and Claremont was restarting X-Men, and I of course I went and got all 5 covers. And other artists I love are Paul Smith, Arthur Adams, Michael Zeck, of course. I think those are probably like my tops for comics. And then I just gotta give, like, as far as just like overall like artists for like fantasy art, I would say Jusko is my top. Joe Jusko is my top.
That's tough.
And
some of the top guys, a lot of the ones you mentioned definitely did some work with Doom. To me, that's been fun going through and discovering all those runs about the omnibus and just reading some of that stuff. I didn't grow up with it, but the Burn stuff, it's amazing. Shout out to Sergio. He's our comic book.
Him and Free
are our comic book guides. They know more than us, but.
And shout out to Manu as well. I think he's giving me some advice as well on the comic side. So shout out to Manu.
Yeah, for sure.
He really knows his stuff. You know what I mean? Like, as much as he knows them, like you could tell you everything you want to know about Wizard.
No, for sure.
He every detail. He's
passionate about it. Yeah. That's the type of stuff I like. I could listen to people talk about passionate over like a stamp. I don't know. Like, as long as you're passionate about it, like, I'm intrigued, right? Like, it's the type of stuff that we try to find on Instagram, and just you get to a different. It makes you go find other stuff. Like, this is the discovery phase. It's like it's always fun to just find stuff you never knew you wanted or you never knew you liked.
That's the beauty of the community, is just you see other people's collections and you just see things that you never would see on your own, and it's like, wow, like even if it's just something you jump into the rabbit hole for an evening and just discover a new story, a new thing that you like. It's really cool.
It seems like it's like never ending, right? That's what I think we appreciate about the most, that because usually, for example, you play a video game, as soon as you beat it, you might get over that video game. But in this sense, with collecting, we keep jumping from like one train of collecting to another, and it never gets boring, because, to your guys' point, like, we just keep learning, starting from scratch all over again.
So much stuff that, and then we just see what's on there, like some of these Japanese collectors, and seeing like the stuff they post, the manga, the books they find, like properties, like IPs I've never knew about, but they just look cool. Like, I don't understand it, but it's just the aesthetic is there. Like,
Oh, the one other thing I do collect, and I forgot to mention it when you first asked me, is I don't collect it as prevalently, but I collect Transformers, like G1 especially. And like how Doom brought up how like there's like a whole different side with like the Japanese collectors. Is like G1 Transformers, it kind of ended in the US like after 86, like a little bit after the movie. I think they did one more series or one more season, I'm sorry. But in Japan, they continued it with like 3 more series. And there's like so many other G1 toys that only came out in Japan. And those are actually the rarest and most valuable are from those. It's like there's like God Force, Master Force, and I can't remember the third one. I'm sorry, but it's just like they continued it to a whole different level.
Like, do you collect like specific scales? Like,
no, I just
that character.
I kind of just went back and I tried Optimus Prime, of course.
Yeah.
So that was as a kid, my very first Transformer I got was Cliff Jumper. It's a little red car. And I wanted an Optimus Prime. And in Hawaii, I mean, he was impossible to find. I think it took us over a year to finally get Optimus Prime. So as an adult, yeah, it was crazy. And I've never seen a Starscream as a kid in the store. I had Skywarp and Thundercracker, the other two jets, but I have never seen or I never got a Starscream. It's just you just never seen it. And so I just kind of.
No, go ahead. I was going to say, how crazy does it get as far as pricing for some of those rare pieces that you're talking about?
Bad. It's prohibitive. Like, even that's why I kind of went back and got what I had as a kid, and I kind of just pulled back. And there's one. Crazy. It is, and even for like in rough condition, it gets crazy. Like there's one. It's. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to mention like even like I watched the toy collectors. There's a lot of guys who do the Transformers, but even the knockoffs, like the third party ones that are like that are recreating like the first generation ones, are expensive to begin with. Like the knockoffs are expensive, man. Like
yes. Like they got the official Takara reissues, and that's a lot of what I ended up getting just to replace my old ones that I had as a kid. They're well made, and then like you said, the knockoffs are even getting expensive. The Chinese, and like there's one in particular. There's one called Overlord, and it's a toy we never got in America, but he's like a double Power Master, and it's a really nice figure, big character. And if the last time I looked, I never even tried to get it, but out of the box in decent condition, he runs over $1,000.
Well, that's crazy. Yeah, it's another
yeah. It's and then if he has a box, it's in the stratosphere.
Like 10,000.
I don't know about 10,000. Maybe like 2,000 with
that's still crazy,
for like a nice box one. Yeah. But like there's other characters like there's a car, I think it's called Minerva. That one is also insane. But yeah, that's a whole different spectrum that I think a lot of American collectors don't even know about that exists.
Yeah, Transformers. It's the same with like the Star Wars collectors and the action
like Gundam Wing collectors.
Yeah, Gundam. Yeah,
it's crazy. Yeah, there's so much. It's endless. Bro. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's an avenue everywhere. Like,
and then we talked about even like the Gachapons. Remember? Like the little super little Dragon Ball Z figures. Those are dope.
The whole Dragon Ball thing, like the SH figure arts, like they're doing all these obscure like characters. Like it's a real good time to be a Dragon Ball fan if you're collecting those action figures. That same company is doing like One Piece. They're starting to do that. That's gonna be a huge thing. There's a lot of stuff going on in collectibles right now. It's really cool. The Street Fighter stuff that's coming out. I think it's a smaller company, Jada Toys, but I think you can find them in Target if you guys are interested in that Street Fighter stuff. Cool. They're like $20, but it's a newer company and they're giving like the best articulation. Like the Chun-Li is gonna come out soon. Like that one looks crazy. So I would advise anybody's interested, go look at that stuff.
It's tough, man. I kind of don't want to open that door, like we were going back to the Mondos, like picking if I do get the Magneto Gambit, then I'm gonna somehow rationalize getting into some
you gotta get the whole team.
Hot Toys. Hot Toys.
Well,
there's a couple Batman pieces that I've been wanting to get, but there again, like Johnny was saying, it's some of the older models, and they look dope, like the Gantry. You guys remember that one from the Dark Knight, where he has all the accessories, like because it's 1/6 scale, just like the Mondo, but it has like where he has the fucking the cow and all the little batarangs and everything.
Was it like his whole arsenal on the wall, or something?
Yeah.
I remember that thing. Toys. And it has like it's like a Bruce Wayne figure with it, right?
And you could get like Alfred with it if you
get like I remember seeing that.
There's a Queen Studios, I believe they made a subset of like 6 scale figures. Is that Heath Ledger Joker one that I showed you, elusive, with the has like the corduroy texture and all that. Like that figure itself Like if you missed a pre-order for $250, they're going for $500, $700. Like it's a different.
Jeez.
Yeah, and the deluxe comes with like the metal like cell where he's sitting on the bench and you get the whole scene, like that stuff. Yeah, those are amazing when you see the images. I'm on some of the discords for the figure collectors, and yeah, man, it's a different. Yeah, if you open the door, that's another world, man. It gets
It's
expensive.
crazy.
Yeah,
It takes up a lot of space too.
Again, we were talking about this. Yeah, that's why if I did, it would just be like as a display, like one. I would say, here's how I'm gonna justify, it, guys. I'm doing it as we speak. I'll just get one for each one of my like PC characters. How about that?
There you go. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm going on
One
in on
Gambit, one
Batman. Like
Circle.
I have the Batman animated Mondo stuff. I can't wait for that Harley. And
Oh yeah,
I'm just I want the X-Men stuff too. Like I really wanted that Gambit, but no, man. I gotta stick to
I'm not gonna
whatever.
lie. As much as like the Gambit though, that Magneto, going back to the Magneto is
I
dope.
Magneto's
Very
I
well done.
I think the Magneto's the best one yet. It's just the way they made the model of him, and it's even like the cartoon where usually in the comics he's drawn with all purple gloves, but in the cartoon it's like purple gauntlets and his gloves are red. And they kept that with the toy, and it's just that attention to detail that
Yeah.
just they go that extra mile, and it counts.
Yeah, no, it definitely counts.
Yeah.
And that even there, like opening like the photographers of like the action figure photographer community, like a lot of those collectors do photography. Like it's next level when you see their posts. Like it's its own hobby in itself.
Yeah.
But it's something that I enjoyed, even though I don't participate in much. Like I'm not gonna buy a lot of those figures. I just still like watching their podcasts and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
to me, that's
You know,
entertaining.
last thing I'll bring up, and just to end it here, I gotta go soon, but I will.
Yeah.
One of the other things I wanted to bring up was, have you guys gotten into that wormhole of the different dioramas that people do? Like number one, I'll get into the diecast ones. The diecast ones are dope. Like they do like mountains, like where they're drifting, and the way they set up the scenery is ridiculous.
Yeah,
They'll
it's
do
like
like parking
landscape.
lots,
Yeah.
parking garages,
Mhm.
and then some people get even crazier where they'll do like a whole town. It's
Yeah.
Any shout outs you guys want to do, man? And Johnny, man, thanks for joining us again, man. It was cool
Yeah,
to meet you.
man.
We actually just met, right, for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Hey,
No,
open invite to you, man. Anytime you want to join us, man. But
yeah.
Absolutely,
Thank
man.
you.
show me some of the more stuff. I know you had a couple more things you want to share with us, maybe some cards or something before we go.
Okay. Well, let me get this place lit up because it just turned dark over here. So let me
Yeah, no worries.
Oh, no
get the
worries, man.
light on. So I got a couple books here. One of these I was gonna feature, but I'll show it to you guys. This is another one of my favorite covers. Actually, I grabbed the wrong book, but you know what? I'm gonna show it to you guys anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
yeah.
worries.
I mean, obviously, I had the 9.9 up, but this is my
Nice.
9.8 copy, and this is a direct.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice,
Yeah,
classic.
that's amazing. Wolverine. That's
And
sweet. Yeah.
then one of our cats is coming in the picture now. So,
Huh.
and then I got another one, and yeah, this is kind of the big one, and I did post this a little while ago, but this is one of my big ones.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully, one.
Yeah, 181.
That's crazy.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
No, that's
Super awesome.
amazing.
What? How long have you had it for, John?
I want to say 2006.
Oh, wow, dude, you've been doing it for
Nice.
a minute.
Yeah. So that's
Wow.
like this is a book I wanted since I was 7 years old when I first discovered Marvel, but it was so out of reach all the time, and once I got like a full-time job, I kind of made it like one of my little goals. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I was getting my vacation, I think it was around 2006. I was taking 2 weeks vacation before that, I worked 2 weeks straight, 12 hours, 7 days, and I just accumulated as much as I could before that. And then I had a buddy. At that time, I didn't have internet, so a buddy of mine would go on eBay for me and help me find stuff. And I told him, I'm like, dude, look, I'm gonna make a big push. Let's try see if we can get a Hulk 181. And so that week, when I got through working and when I started my vacation, I told him, just at the time I had enough. We thought we could maybe get like a 8.5, maybe a 8.0, but this one popped up and it was a seller with zero feedback, so there was a little bit of risk.
Wow.
Yeah, there's always
so
those are the best ones, though, if they pay off.
So I took a day to think about it, and nobody was bidding on it, and I told him, you know what, this might be the only chance, and it's a condition I never thought I'd be able to get it in, so let's just try it, and let's keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah.
And everything worked out, and I mean the color on it, it doesn't show well too much through the pictures, but if you see this one in person, like the red is super bold on this cover, and it's just I was just super lucky. It's a 9.2, but I've never needed anything more. Once I got this, I'm like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah, that's dope, bro. Congratulations.
Yeah. Like they said, the universe, it works out. Like I always love listening to those stories because sometimes you gotta take a risk, man. Like it's meant to be. It's meant to be.
I thought the timing was funny. The auction came up right when we were kind of looking for it, and I was like, but yeah, we took a risk and it worked, thankfully. And
awesome.
That's
an amazing piece.
You know what we have to do, in all honesty, Johnny, because I could talk to you for hours, man. So let's do a part 2. We need to do a part 2. To be continued.
Yeah, some other week.
Yeah.
This is part 1. I'm saying for everybody listening, this is part 1.
Yeah, this is part 1. Yeah,
I'd be honored. Thank you guys. That means the world.
I appreciate you joining us, man.
Yeah,
it's been fun. It's cool to hear different perspectives from other collectors and from different places. It's awesome. Like just again, shout out to your rooster. Like again, it just places me somewhere else. You know what I mean? It brings me back personally.
Yeah, I mean,
we don't
for sure.
We don't hear that when we're talking to Jacob. You know what I mean? We don't hear that when we're talking. When we're talking to Sergio, Sergio's always, outside walking in Miami. We don't be hearing any roosters.
Yeah, he is. Crazy cars flow by and stuff. Yeah, for sure.
So I appreciate it, man. But hey, do many shout outs.
Man. Let's get to the shout outs. Jonny, if you have a shout out, not it's just something we like to do at the end. Give a shout out to certain things we see or whatever. They don't get a lot of love. Shout out to all the video game collector Instagram pages. Like I've been down that rabbit hole and just like that's a whole other scene. Again, awesome stuff. A lot of the vintage stuff. For me personally, the Game Boy is like the stuff from my childhood, the original Game Boy. And just looking at the collectors and how crazy some of these guys are doing, like a full collection set of like Super Nintendo, and then just try to grab all the Super Nintendo. Like it's insane.
Madness. Yeah,
it's like a museum they have. So shout out to them. Yeah, shout out to all the new Rob Liefeld collectors. Everybody's breaking Rob Liefeld cards for the signing. We'll see how many collectors there are when after the signing, how many flood eBay. All the Deadpool. I haven't seen a lot of Todd McFarlane autos. I'll tell you that much. For sure. I mean, look, there's some nice stuff out there.
Hey, shout out. Hey, you know how I want to shout out? Sorry to cut you off just because I forget with the McFarlane signing. Who was that IG account that we both saw that he got the ASM 300 by Todd McFarlane?
Yeah, I don't remember the name, but it's a fairly new one to Instagram.
Yeah.
But judging by what they have, they're not a new collector.
No. Shout out to you, Johnny. You know that card I bought from you that we were talking about earlier, the 2015 full year Venom? He got
the retro.
The retro, he got that signed by Todd, and he got a 9.5 by CGC.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's insane.
6 Todd McFarlane. They're all like 9.5s or better, right? Like they're all crazy cards.
He got a couple, he got a couple lower ones, but I'm just gonna focus on that 9.5.
Yeah. That's tight. That's about as good as it gets.
Yeah. Let me know if that's available as well, by the way. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to that, I'm sure. And you know, other people, at least Comic Images is getting a little bit of a spot in the sunlight when they're cracking these what is it, X-Force boxes is what everyone's cracking now.
Don't get me started.
Yeah, because it's all leg felt art.
Yeah.
And the X-Force number ones too,
yeah, that too.
To get the rookie cards.
The Deadpool for sure, and the other ones.
Yeah.
What about you, Lucy? You got any shout outs?
Yeah, shout out to that guy with the IG with the Todd McFarlane signings again. Shout out to Norin Rad JJ Moore. He's a private account now. Like if you didn't follow him before, I think you could still follow him, and he accepts your follow or not. But he's just a surfer collector, and he's a dope dude, man. He's been in the community for a long time, at least since I joined. So shout out to him. Again, his IG is just to make sure. Hold on. Yeah, is Norin Rad, or also known as the real Norin Rad.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, that account is awesome.
Yeah. Shout out to him. You know what original piece he got, by the way?
What?
Speaking about original art, he got that the Silver Surfer by Francavilla. Francavilla. He got that artwork, the original artwork for it.
Oh wow!
That piece.
I need to go check that out.
That piece is crazy.
Wait, I wonder if that's related to the Mondo print.
It's the 150th variant cover.
Okay.
Yeah, but crazy piece. I'll send it to you guys.
Francavilla, awesome.
So you guys can see it. But yeah, shout out to him, man.
For sure.
How about you, Johnny? Any shout outs?
I'm just gonna paint it with a broad brushstroke. Just all the card collectors out there at IG. Like when I first came onto IG, I was kind of nervous and I just didn't know what to expect. But everybody's just been so positive and awesome, and I just appreciate everybody who's even just checked out the page or even had a few words with me. Thank you.
No,
and
awesome. Yeah, I think that's what's cool about this, man. I think is that the fact that we all really enjoy what we're doing is why it's a positive, environment in general, because everybody's genuinely enjoying what they're doing, regardless of what you're collecting or who you're collecting or how you're collecting. You're here for a reason. As far as we're all drawn to the artwork or to whatever we're drawn to with Marvel, and I think that's why everybody enjoys it.
Whatever collectible you're into, they're out there, man.
Just go find it.
Yeah, and again, guys, tune in for part 2. But you guys have a good one.
Thank you guys for having me again.
Thank you.
Thanks.